Today we are going to look at a group of embryos that have been in the IVF lab for 5 days. By now, an embryo should have reached the blastocyst stage and be ready for implantation in the uterus. This stage of embryo development is characterized by the presence of 2 cell types and a fluid-filled cavity, or cyst. The outer cells in the embryo pump fluid into the central cavity, causing the whole embryo to inflate and burst out of its shell. They will then invade the lining of the uterus and form the placenta of the new pregnancy. The cells on the inside of the embryo will form the fetus and some of the extra embryonic membranes, such as the yolk sac. We remove the petri dish containing the embryos from inside the special incubator that replicates conditions inside the human body. In order to observe the embryos, we take the petri dish to the microscope stage and examine each embryo carefully. In assessing the day 5 embryo, we first look to see what stage the embryo has reached. Some embryos will have arrested at earlier stages and will not make blastocysts. Others can be at the morulus stage, which is the stage immediately before the blastocyst stage. For those embryos that have become blastocysts, we further categorize them according to how many cells they have and how expanded they have become. An early blastocyst will have a small cavity and very few inner and outer cells. A blastocyst will have more cells and will have a well-expanded cavity. As they continue to develop, they begin to hatch from their shell, hatching blastocyst, and soon escape completely, hatched blastocyst. At each stage, we also assign a grade, just like we did on day 3. A blastocyst that looks perfect will be assigned a grade of 1, whereas grades 2 and 3 are assigned to average or poor-looking blastocysts respectively. The embryos are returned to the culture incubator. The overall assessment of each embryo is made using a combination of its stage and grade. Blastocysts with a grade of 1 or 2 are considered to have the best chance for establishing a pregnancy. Grade 3 embryos and/or those that have not reached the blastocyst stage will have more limited pregnancy potential. Once the embryo has reached the blastocyst stage, it can be transferred to the patient's uterus, frozen for later use, and/or biopsied for genetic testing. Some embryos will take a little longer to become blastocysts, so we will assess them again on day 6 and even on day 7.